Hey guys, this is Issues with Toddy One Skip, and good morning. How are you today? I have just woken up. It's about 6:11 right now. I woke up about 4:44, actually 4:44 a.m. So I wanted to say hello, guys. I had a headache yesterday, and I'm gonna go ahead and do the chapters 3. I'm going to start on chapter 3 of my book today at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Sorry about yesterday's. I did read chapter 1 and 2, but then I had a family emergency and had to scat. So I apologize for that. I'm not going to say that that's not going to happen again because it's a fluid type situation. Anyway, guys, so a couple of you have sent me some emails, and a couple of you have written in the comments about Relatable Reese, who is from the Scientology sphere. Okay, and Reese was a Scientologist who got doxxed by Aaron Smith Levin. Hey, Aaron, fucked up again. He did, and he seemed really apologetic about it. And anyway, she ended up leaving Scientology. She says she was never going to leave Scientology. Maybe the best thing for her was to leave Scientology. However, it should have been a choice, not like a forced decision, which unfortunately it had become. I am going to give Aaron totally the benefit of the doubt that that happened. He should be more careful. Unfortunately, things like that happen. And he does a lot of live streams. So you got to be careful with that. But she accepted it as an accident. And okay, so Relatable Reese has a child. And anyway, so she left Scientology about 2 years ago, I'd say. And she met through Aaron Tommy Scoville, who is part of the Lifeboat crew, or the Lifeboat on YouTube. And I don't think that Tommy's idea of sobriety is the same idea that I have of sobriety. And I've spoken about it in very small ways a long time ago, just in what sobriety is, you know. So you can't just change sobriety to make it fit you, though I understand that that's the way the English language has gone, you know, like conversate. There was never a word, it was always converse. You know, we were going to converse with each other. But so many people have used the word conversate without realizing that converse wasn't just, you know, Converse All-Star tennis shoes, but also another word for conversate. Anyway, so conversate, I found, is now in the dictionary because of popular demand, apparently. So we're just changing the language anyway, I guess. I have a lot of respect for the English language because I spent so much time writing it, and I love it. And I don't like when it's dumbed down, and I don't like when laziness put into the dictionary because people just can't look up a word. And with all of the smart text and all of that stuff, autocorrect, we really have dumbed down, me included. There's times I'll look at a word and go, is that the way it looks wrong? Anyway, guys, what I recommend, and this is just me now just talking because this is what I do. There are times when I'll think of a word and I'm pretty sure I know what the word means, and I'll ask Alexa what the word means because I have, you know, a couple of Alexa devices, and you can do that. So you can really learn a few words a day without even looking at a book, but just asking your Alexa device, what does that word mean? You know, if you're watching something or you read something and it doesn't make any sense, or you don't know what the word means, I mean, you could look it up, or you can ask, you know, Alexa for another word for using it as a thesaurus. Anyway, I don't know why I went there. I guess it's because somewhere inside of me is still the writer. Guys, Relatable Reese, there's also apparently somewhere inside of me that is still the drugs counselor. So Relatable Reese, and somebody brought this to my attention. I forgot who it was. It was a long time ago when I first started my channel. I was covering Scientology. And somebody said, is Relatable Reese with Tommy? Like, it was a gossip thing. And I'm not the gossip type. I don't want that. You know what I mean? For a little bit of here and there, yes, but that's not what I want to base anything on. So I said I didn't know. And then a few people had said, oh, yeah, they're together, in conversation. Not that they answered me. I never asked. And so anyway, they were. And Yeah, really, Relatable Reese cheated on her husband, and she says that, and she's not proud of it. She says it, she owns it, and she went for Tommy. Now, to me, looking at Tommy, I saw nothing but red flags, nothing but red flags. But I can understand where Reese, everything looked golden to her, even though we know she saw red flags, because she goes back now and says, now she said something that people are beating her up on. And I understand why, but I think that she just worded it wrong. She said something about she wasn't worried about Tommy being abusive because she's dealt with that before. She felt like she could handle that before. She meant physical. Okay. Nobody should ever have to deal with that. When that happens, you need to stop it in its tracks. It's very hard for people to change when you don't make them change, when you don't hold them accountable. And sometimes, even with accountability, they're not going to change. So either you're going to take it and you're going to show it to your kid, or you're not going to take it. So that's going to be your choice, but you can't fake it. You know, it's there. You can't act like it's not there just because at that moment it doesn't rear its head. You know it's there. And then you start walking on eggshells, which is exactly what she did when she didn't want to bring things up. So what happened? Relatable Reese and Tommy have broken up. Now, as far as I know, this is the second time that they broke up. And this time, I guess it's final, and she's saying enough that she's actually supposedly worried for her safety because of words that Tommy's brother has said to her, as far as, you know, my brother's going to handle this. He'll be on a plane. He'll handle this. And now she is afraid, physically, very afraid. And, you know, when somebody talks like that, they should be. They should be afraid. But they didn't just all of a sudden start talking like that. So Relatable Reese had an idea that Tommy was still using, because she mentions a few times about a backyard and a motorcycle. And if somebody's not sober and they're lying about their sobriety, everything below it, and trust me, their addiction is going to be number one. And if they're sober, their sobriety is going to be number one. Okay? So that's the way it is with an addict. No balloons, folks, no balloons. I hate when it does that. I wish that I could just shut that off. Anyway, so she obviously knew he still was struggling. But what she didn't know was that's really the hierarchy. Either you're an addict and your addiction is number one, or you're in sobriety if you were ever an addict and your sobriety is number one. Everything below that, if that's not honest, everything below that is not honest. Everything, if that's not built on a strong foundation, you know, gravity is going to come falling down on you. So that's just the way it is. And I know that as a former drugs counselor. So Tommy's sobriety was never. And sobriety is a lifestyle. It is not just abstaining from drugs. It's also working a program to keep you sober. And as much, anybody who's ever been an addict, who's ever, before they've gone to bed, made sure that they had their supply within reach for the morning, knows what I'm talking about here. If you worked hard at that, you work just as hard, if you're serious about sobriety, at your sobriety. You have to work just as hard at your sobriety as you did at your addiction and feeding it in order to stay sober. So cheating and lying and stealing is not part of that program. Again, it is a whole lifestyle change. In order for it to be successful, it's a whole lifestyle change. Does that make any sense to anybody? Relatable Reese, I have a message for you. And I really want you to hear this. And I want everybody to hear this because it's important that you know it. I'm going to give you gold here. You say that you thought Tommy loved you, and now you think he didn't love you. Tommy loved you. That's it. He loved you. He loved you the way that Tommy loves. Don't take that away from him. He might have loved you more than anybody he's ever loved. And that will be 1,000% true to him. Don't belittle how he loved you. It wasn't enough for you. It wasn't the way you wanted to be loved. It wasn't the way you needed to be loved. But when you say he didn't love you, I don't believe that's true. Now, I know you're going by, it's a scripted year 2025. I'm sorry, when I heard that, that could mean anything. That could mean I've got this year all laid out. We're going to do the YouTube channels. We're going to plan for this house. It's all scripted. It's a fucking word. You can't put power in a word unless you understand the content and the context of that word. What did you mean by that? It's scripted. It just meant it's all laid out, baby. It's all laid out. I'm writing the movie for it, and this is it. It doesn't mean that he didn't love you. It doesn't mean that this was all an act. I don't see that leap there. Now, there's a lot of things that you have said, Relatable Reese. And if you see them in the light that you are seeing them in, which is not objectively, in my opinion, just from listening to the breakup, it seemed to me like that woman, and I mean, unless I missed something, it seemed to me like she called herself like a brother, sister to him, and that you didn't like their relationship. I think that you think something and you need to prove it because you know it's not right. And that's enough alone to hold your relationship back and not accept a marriage proposal. I'm sorry. There's still things we need to work on, honey. Let's work on them together. I want to marry you, but it's not going to work if we go this way. We have to go this way for me to go forward. It's all communication. And if you don't get what you need from somebody, okay, then that's not what you need. You either rearrange your puzzle piece and manipulate it so it fits better, that puzzle piece that belongs to your partner, or you just say, we're not the puzzle pieces that are going to fit, So we should never just accept anybody's bad behavior and say, oh, I could deal with it. Because especially somebody who's a mom, they're also speaking for their child. So, Relatable Reese, I just wanted to hopefully tell people that are going through these things, if you have to walk on eggshells because you're afraid to speak to somebody that you're with, maybe you're not with the right person. I mean, if you just talking about something, I understand you keep making a mistake over and over again, then you're afraid to bring it up to this person because it's like, oh man, they've been through it so many times. How are they going to believe me this time? Or da-da-da. If you're the manipulator, it's different, but if you're the one that's being manipulated, that's up to you, especially when you recognize it, So Scientology obviously has messed with a lot of people, as we can see from that. But, you can't come into the real world and say you want to be treated and continue to act like a Scientologist and use that as an excuse. You have to kind of change that, And if, again, and it's for anybody with a kid. If you show your kid what you're willing to tolerate, you're showing them how to have somebody treat you. Because people, again, they treat you the way you let them treat you. I think it is a good idea that Relatable Reese and Tommy left each other. He's explosive. He seems a lot more toxic than her. And apparently he does use people, and you heard him. In all fairness, he is saying, this isn't what I wanted to do as far as using somebody for money. He used somebody for money. He said, I was struggling. I needed it. And I did that. I could have taken her for more, but I didn't take her for more. And he was kind of, and that's a real struggle within somebody who's trying to do the right thing, but also doesn't want to lose anything that they've worked for because they're going through a rough month. That's not the way to behave. Don't get me wrong. That's not the way to behave. But there's a little bit of credit there for him saying, I could have taken her for everything. I didn't take her for everything. And he's trying to find acceptance in his own mind for why he behaved so poorly. And you know what? He could have said nothing. I fucking took it. I used her. I don't give a shit. Da 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 da. And da 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 da. But there is some sort of struggle within him saying, it's not the way I want to be. I don't want to be that way, but I needed it, And still, no, you work harder. You do whatever you can. You don't go back to your old ways. It's not, again, that's not being honest. It's not being truthful. What it's showing is, and what it's putting in the back of Tommy's mind is, well, if I don't make it, I could do this. I don't want to do it, but I could do it. And once you do it, it makes it easier to do it again. It's kind of like losing your sobriety. What the fuck? I lost my sobriety. Might as well use. Nope. Nope. Be that you had a trip, not a complete fall. Pick up, go. Sober again. Clean again. Live good again. Guys, seriously. So, but, Reese, I wish you well. And I wish you health. And I hope it's over between you and Tommy. Because you got a kid, man. You got a kid. And, spend the next few years raising him, in my opinion. Because, with you being in Scientology and everything, I don't know. I hear that kids, treated secondary. And I'm not saying you did that. But, both of you have been through a lot, right? You and your kid. So, spend time with that. Anyway, you don't have to go by what I'm saying. This comes with, seriously, it comes with my heart. I mean it sincerely. Guys, this is Issues with Toddy One Skip. I am Toddy One Skip. I hope anybody can get anything from this. That would be great if everybody somehow can get something from this, and it's not so unrelatable. For Unrelatable Reese, is that what you guys are calling her? Anyway, be better today than you were yesterday. Not half as good as you'll be tomorrow. Always try to be kind, guys. But don't be a pushover. Don't be a walk-on. And please like, subscribe, and share. And thank you for the memberships yesterday during the live. I'm going live again today at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thanks, guys. Reading my book.